tonight. Shocker. I know, I love PowerPoint presentations, but hopefully you have pen and paper and you've got your mic on so you can kind of share. I wanted to, ask you, I really wanted to start by asking, how do you define success? And, I went online and there were so many different things. And a lot were really like what I expected, like, oh, achieving something you want, or, but I feel like it's a little bit deeper than that. And I feel like we don't do Juice Plus in a silo. We do it as part of our whole life. And so that involves a lot of other things that are other responsibilities, relationships, jobs, marriages, kids, parents, all the things that we manage. So, as we think about success, think about kind of that whole big picture of your life and think about what are some of those moments that you feel like you truly experienced some success, and what is that defined by? And I'd love to go around and have everybody share, a few thoughts in 30 seconds or a minute, if you feel comfortable doing that.
Absolutely.
Ellen, I think I feel the most success when people around me are happy. Like, I'm thinking of my kids right now. When they're happy, I'm feeling good. And so when I feel like I'm with Juice Plus, when my team is doing well and they're happy and they're engaged and they are feeling successful, then that's when I'm feeling the most successful.
That's good.
100%. I love that. Okay, who else? Somebody's beeping here. Sherry, can I get you to share?
Sure. I agree with you, Jenna. When the people around you are happy, then it's like, okay, you're doing something right. So that must be success. But I'm thinking, and I didn't look up any of the definitions or stuff, but I just know personally for myself when, gosh, even if you just set a goal that you're going to get up and you're going to exercise or you're going to do something, I mean, whatever you're focusing on, and then even outside of your Juice Plus business, but because we know that we have to be happy with ourselves to, emulate that out for everybody to be attracted to. So I guess those would be the things for me, that just that inner peace then brings out an energy, an aura that people want to be around. And then that helps build success all around.
I really like that, when you kind of like yourself and feel like, hey, I'm a success as I define it on my own terms. That's really attractive to other people. It allows them to be themselves. That's great. Reagan, you put a note in here. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Tony Robbins defines success. He says success is doing what you want, when you want, where you want, with whom you want, as much as you want. And I think that's great.
That.
So I think the thing is, you got to think, am I doing what I want? Right? Like so today, I had a friend's mom who passed away on Thursday. And I don't know, it just always makes you, when you're close to somebody that passes away, you always think about, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? Like, what is my life flashing before my eyes? Am I doing what I want? Like, I start to get really like inward about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think making progress towards something makes you successful, right? If you're actually taking initiative to get up and go do something that's getting your goal. Like Erica, I was so proud of you. She loves to bake and she got a commercial mixer. That's a great way to be successful, right? I mean, and I love that she does Juice Plus and does her passion for baking. What a great example of that we get to do this, right? When we want, how we want, with whom we want.
Yeah, it's funny actually that you mentioned that. What you mentioned about I'm trying to think the words that you just used, but when I was thinking, when Ellen mentioned, how would you define success? I'm like, for me, success is defined as like anywhere in my life I'm moving forward in some way. Then I feel successful. When I'm not, even when I just stand still, I feel kind of neutral. I don't really feel like I'm in a state of being successful or really failure. But when I take even one little baby step forward, which is silly, one new customer order, one new team member, one new whatever, fill in the blank, that's when I feel successful. So I felt like that kind of lined up with what you were saying, Reagan.
Yeah. You've also heard if you're not growing, you're dying, right? We have to, we're fluid. We're like a river, right? You're moving or you're stagnant. When you're moving, you're.
I love that, Reagan, that you brought that up, because I think success can be defined by moving forward. Sometimes we make it all about a certain achievement or a certain status or something like that. And yet, if you do achieve something, like, if you do achieve national marketing director, like, it's such a big deal, but nobody is looking at you those days that, you're really challenged to get the work done, or you don't feel like doing it, or you're overcoming obstacles, or you have a day where you feel like everyone tells you no until finally somebody says yes the next day or whatever. Success is always moving forward, and battling against quitting, giving up, kind of just staying stuck. I think that's really a powerful thing. It's get up and show up. So I know as a mom, sometimes I feel like I never get it all done, right? And it's really easy to beat myself up and be like, oh my gosh, I missed the sign up for this, or I did this, or like, actually this morning I was so mad at myself because I got an order on Friday and I forgot to put it in this weekend. And then I was like, oh, that's not going to go in July business. Shoot. Well, then I found out it was qualifiers day. So I did. But it's the overall totality of your activity and the momentum of keeping forward. And if you have a lot going on in your life, like sometimes things you get, distracted, or something falls through for a second, you just go back and get it.
Yep.
Who else wants to share? Judy?
For me, I think everybody covered it, but the small wins, right? Like everybody already covered it. Like Eric said, just take that step. Take a step and take a step. Whether it be for your Juice Plus business or maybe your fitness or just anything. Right? Could be getting the dishes done.
I love that. Just one small step. I don't know if some of you are like me, but I tend to beat myself up that I never do enough, right? And so even if I did 30 things, it wasn't enough. And I did that to myself in my journey. So I always felt a little bit stressed out. And then I started reframing that. And I felt bad if I didn't do juice. Like if I went, on a date day with my husband, but didn't do any, I felt bad. Like I wasn't doing enough. And it's really not the way to be successful. And so I reframed it along the way. And I said, okay, every morning when I open my eyes, I go, okay, what's the one thing, if I get that done, in my Juice Plus business today, when I put my little tootsies back in these sheets tonight, that I'll feel proud of myself. And anything else is a bonus. Like, what's the most important thing I get done? And so like for Jenna, for you is to build for your event, right? Like you get that done. That's a huge win, right? So maybe reframing, taking those successes into, like Judy said, that one small step each day leads you to the top, right?
And to kind of piggyback on that, I guess something that Sherry said about the inner peace, Because even if you make that success, if you're not happy inside, you don't appreciate it. It doesn't mean success to you. So I think that little nugget still goes in there.
Yep.
That's good. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead, Sherry.
I was just going to say, I liked the analogy of the river too, that, you know, that we need to keep moving, because when we don't, what happens? It gets stagnant. And when it gets stagnant, it gets stinky. And when we get stagnant, we allow stinky thinking to come into our head. So I think that just making those little steps every day to keep us moving and keep that stink and stagnant away from us is a good thing.
Yep.
No, absolutely. Because I think, I think stagnancy is so tempting, and there's so much of it around us. Although in some ways, I think the way the world's been the last year or so is maybe shaking people up a little bit. I mean, did any of you feel like you had moments in the last year that you just really had to redefine success, because there were times when everything looked totally different than what we've ever known,
Absolutely. Even activity levels are shifted, right? Like, I think it's interesting, like in the networking group, but they do a lot of Zoom connects. And I'm like, well, I never thought about doing a networking event like that before, right? So there's ways to do it. It's just, you've got to actually take the initiative to set that stuff up. So.
Right. I mean, I think anytime you take initiative, that's always a success. I love that word, because we can't totally define success. That's a success too.
Keeping it real.
We needed that.
Yes, we all do sometimes. Anyways, no, but I think you can't just define it by just achievement, although I think you need to do that sometimes. I think you need to sometimes say, okay, I'm doing really great with my business and I add 5 new customers every month. And, on average, I'm adding a new distributor every month, but I'm not advancing to the next rank as planned. Do I need to shake things up a little bit? Do I need to challenge myself even more? As the Olympics come around, it's such a great reminder of the infinite potential of us as humans, that so often we're stronger than we think we are, and we're capable of so much more than we ever think we're capable of. So sometimes we do need to draw that line in the sand and say, okay, you know what? It's not just doing what I've been doing, it's doing whatever it takes to get me to that next place, and giving yourself permission to grow, to struggle, to maybe get out of balance for a while with some things. Who can talk more about any of that? Any ideas you want to share?
I will share, Miss Ellen. I just talked to Ellen about this on our last check-in call, because I thought it was interesting that this quote, I don't even know who it's by, but just the concept that, until the pain of where you are, it's greater than the pain that it's going to take to get where you want to go or need to go. You'll just sit in that place, and that's maybe where we have to get to that kind of like, it's almost an icky feeling for me, like, I'm not where I want to be. Don't really love where I am. I'm whatever, fill in the blank, nervous about or fearful of or whatever, intimidated by what it's going to take to get to the next level. But, I don't think you can stay in that place, for very long, before you have to choose if you're willing to do something you've never done, to achieve something you've never achieved before, or if you just want to stay complacent in the same spot. So anyhow, you know, success is like I'm trying to think what the word is for that term, but it's like an evolving thing, because what was successful before doesn't just stay successful forever. There's always a new level in your business and in your life and in your whatever, in your spirituality, whatever. You can't just stay in the same place and be like, oh, I'm just so successful. Success grows with you. So anyhow, I am speaking from a place like that's where I am. I've been in a safe place for a really long time with a lot of just weirdness in the last really year and a half, almost 2 years. And like a genuine desire to move forward and succeed in some areas, but like just really like so many surviving. And I'm kind of tired of playing I've been in survival mode, and I'm ready to, be back in a thriving mode, which I feel like has been a hard thing to find. So all that to say, it's going to take something that I haven't done before to get to the place that I need to go, the new level of success that I have my eye on. So anyhow, I think that can speak to a lot of us where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. The same people that get you and your team growing to one rank in the business are probably going to not take you to the next level. You got to keep bringing in new people. And, I was told that over and over as I built my team. So, in terms of success with your Juice Plus, you want to continually be bringing in new people. As exciting as it is to work with people like Erica and people like Reagan and people like Jenna all these years, we get even more excited when somebody new comes along because their excitement reinvigorates us. So anytime that we're growing our teams, that's definitely a success. Let me ask you all a question. How is your definition of success guided by your values?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'll send you off with your journals tonight. Sit by a river and journal. But I think that, one of the defining things for me that was so important on my Juice Plus journey, why I pursued it to the extent I did, why I'm committed after 15 years, is that Juice Plus has continually allowed me to live my values out loud. Now, my values are not yours and yours are not mine, and we do not give other people values. However, we can give people a place to live their values out loud. And I think that's a really important part of what we do and how we cast vision here. Somebody, mentioned, or Reagan said, Tony Robbins thing about, doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, all that. Anybody know anybody miserable in their job?
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody know anybody miserable in, let's see, a marriage, a neighborhood, a financial situation? Think of all those things, right? So we have a lot of solutions for people on a lot of levels in terms of financial, creating options, but also hands down, when people join our team, they're coming into a more positive community. I think many times people are, they're up leveling their life when they hang out with us, right? So we want to continue to bring in those stars that up level all of us so we get relationally healthier. But I think one of the things that's so important is, as we cast vision for those new team members, is how are they going to define success? Is what would those options be that would change their life? Is it moving to a little better neighborhood? Is it, moving to somewhere with a better school district? Is it, having the
familiar, Ellen? I think I know somebody who just did that.
Yeah. Is it having the finances to get out of debt? Is it having the finances to maybe retire a little bit earlier, walk away from a job that you don't like, or stay at home while your kids are little? Or stay at home while they're big. They need you then too. I don't know. Think about all those options. What about somebody who's taking care of an aging parent? What a great vehicle for somebody to be able to be flexible and work from home and make a difference. A lot of us, we're getting into that. We have aging parents. And if you're in a position as a caregiver, you're probably as busy as you would be with a couple of toddlers. So think about the options and the flexibility, and think about what defines success for you. It all goes back to, it's not about rank and title. Those things feel great. Promotions are awesome. They feel great, right? For a few days. And it's fun to walk the stage, and it's fun to have a celebration and all that, but those things come and go. But your lifestyle and the options you create and your ability to live your values out loud is what defines you and your legacy. I mean, Reagan's just talking about, someone passing away. We're all going to live to be 100 on our Juice Plus, but we're not going to be here forever, right? So, what are you leaving as a legacy? And I think a lot of people get involved with this because there's an opportunity for legacy there. I certainly get to experience that working with someone like Erica. I didn't recruit Erica directly, right? But because of my decision to bring somebody, talk to somebody else, gosh, a decade ago, longer, she's here, and we have a lifelong, friendship and relationship, and we grow and we spur each other on in really positive ways. And that's part of legacy, So I think success, it just goes so much deeper than what the world will tell you, especially if you're on social media all the time. And, you get sucked into comparison of like, gee, they're on vacation all the time, or,
Yeah. So one of the things, you guys, I went to Date with Destiny, which if you ever get the opportunity to go, it's worth every investment you could make in time and money. And one of the things that what we worked on for 5 days were our values. And so it's really easy to say the word value, but do you really know what they are? Have you really dug in and go, what are my values? And instead of just saying values, think of them as towards values and away values, because we have good values and we have ones we avoid, right? So towards values is when you consistently have these things in your life. For me, it's faith, love, happiness, health, abundance, and being generous. That's a value for me. And what does that mean? So you guys can see that, I wrote underneath there, what does that mean to me? Those values. Okay. This is not something you do in 5 minutes. Okay. And then the away values for me were insecurity, resentment, and anger. And, what are they? Well, like, for example, insecurity is false beliefs that I don't have what it takes to learn, have, or do anything I want in life. And then having a solution for your away value, and I have to remember that I have accomplished everything I've ever decided to do, and I can find the resources to make anything possible. So you see how that works? Isn't that cool?
Mhm.
So it
I love
really
that.
helps you kind of go back, and I put them up where I can see them. I'm like, okay, am I doing that? Right. So, for example, one of my values is to be healthy. So, did I get a workout in? What does that mean? Did I do my stretching? Did I eat healthy? Am I, relaxing my brain so I'm not always on all the time, right? So what do those values mean? So that will also help you kind of then weave back in, like, what are you doing in your business? So for me, being generous, falls into that, is who can I share this business with? I mean, I met with a sweet waitress the other day who said she feels like she's been stuck for actually be 8 years. She started when she was 18 and she can't find a way to get out,
Mm.
and late nights, hard work, and she makes nothing. So I don't know if it'll work for her. We'll see, but. took
I
her to
love
lunch.
that. I
You know,
love
took her
that.
to lunch. We'll see.
Yeah, I think, too, I think we really have such an opportunity to uncover talent in others. There's a lot of people out there that nobody has spoken envision into them since maybe their, favorite teacher in 10th grade or, it's so, I know for me, I really came alive when I joined Juice Plus because everybody was talking vision. People saw things in me that I didn't see for myself, and they spoke that. So I could start to see how things could happen for me. And I think that's a really important part of what we do and how duplication actually works. Duplication is numbers and results. Absolutely. It's people joining your team and getting customers and having people join their team and they get customers, and not duplication. But it all starts with that casting of vision, and showing people like, hey, here's how you can have success here. You don't like being in all that credit card debt. Well, here's how you can get yourself out of that and create enough success to pay off that debt. How are you gonna feel when that's done? If you've ever paid off a huge amount of debt, you know how great that feels.
Amen.
Or, done something that made a difference. Reagan, you're somebody that absolutely, when you started this, I know you didn't need the money, but I think the way your brain works and your huge heart, you needed to be doing what you're doing, raising up a team of people. Like, you had that to give. So,
And then the money saved me later,
yeah.
right? I needed the money eventually, so things change, right? So it
Yeah,
literally
life
saved
is funny that way.
it saved our family from going into bankruptcy when the real estate market changed. Thank God we had this, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, right, Tracy. This business and product gives people hope. Amen to that. Let's go bless some people, give them hope. Ellen, thank you. Awesome as always. You guys are all incredible. And
Thanks everyone for sharing tonight. It was really
Yeah,
great
thank
to
you.
come back and connect. Thank you.
And again, don't forget about the Pajama Regional. If you're coming, let me know. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
right.
you.
Love you guys.